Hey YouTube, Mango here. So if you're anything like me, you've already played a lot of Marvel Rivals and you get the classic gameplay loop of the meta support characters. I'm talking Invisible Woman, Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger. You're hanging out around your team, making sure they're all topped up on health and dealing some damage and getting some kills when you can. But I know deep down in your heart, you're like me. You want to play an off-meta legend without getting yelled at. You want to try out those other characters with weird abilities, but you don't want to get yelled at by your team, be accused of trolling, and have everyone on your team quit mentally, physically, maybe even spiritually. Off-meta characters can be a troll pick, there's no doubt about that. But they can totally swing a game in your favor if played the right way. And I've demonstrated this a few times in my live streams, which you should totally go check out, by the way. Go leave a follow. It's fun. It's a good time. In this video, I'm going to teach you how and when to play some of these off-meta support characters and absolutely swing games in your favor and win more of them thanks to their unique kits. And to start, we're going to have to talk about puppies. Well, this puppy, to be specific. Jeff the Landshark is the quintessential you're trolling pick of the support class, and I want to talk about him first because there is an absolute sub-meta in the top of ranked right now where Jeff the Landshark is a very good character, and you need to know how to use him if you want to try and climb the ranks with Jeff, because it's possible. People are doing it right now. Jeff is a dive-heavy, self-reliant support character that is best used by pestering the enemy team and shooting their supports in the backline by slithering around behind, shooting them in the back, and forcing the enemy team to make a choice. When you're playing Jeff and shooting the enemy team in the back, they have two options. They can ignore you and hope their supports can just out-heal your damage, or they can turn around and deal with you, causing a big split where half the team is in the front fighting against your tanks, and then the other half, maybe one of the DPS and two of the supports, are turning around to try and fight you. He is an absolute menace and a disruptive nightmare in high ranks, and he can actually be very effective as the second or third healer on your team. If you only have two healers and you're one of them as Jeff, you need to be a little careful going around the backline because you could totally leave your team out to dry. And what good are you disrupting their backline on the enemy team if your team is all dead? You can't really do that. But if you have the opportunity, or if you're the third support on your team, preferably with a Luna Snow to help you with a team up, you can absolutely go DPS Jeff mode and cause chaos in the enemy team's backline, making your frontline team have a much easier opportunity to kill tanks as they won't be getting healed as often. Your main task as Jeff is to pester the enemy healers and never die. If you are dying often as Jeff, you are throwing. You need to be the most survivable character. If your whole team has 5 deaths, you should have 0. Now, Jeff is only one of the off-meta characters we're going to talk about, and if you're not really a dive-style player, you may want to play someone else that can deal a lot of damage. In that case, you've got a character out there. However, your mindset needs to change, and much like a Christian following Jesus, you need to be born again! Adam Warlock has very limited healing, but can deal absolutely devastating damage by charging up his attack and releasing it in this big beam that can absolutely obliterate tanks, squishies, and the like. He is a very strong damage-dealing support, and he has a little bit of utility with that soul bond to keep everyone alive in a pinch, but he is not a main healer. I hesitate to even recommend suggesting Adam Warlock as a second support. He really is that weak at healing. So unless you have someone on your team that's just God's gift to Cloak and Dagger and you know healing won't be a problem, I would really only suggest Adam Warlock as a third support, but he is a heck of a good third support. Of course, if you happen to have a Mantis and a Star-Lord on your team already selected, picking Adam Warlock can be absolutely outstanding as he will give them the ability to respawn themselves each life as well on their own with that little cocoon passive. That is one of the times that it's worth picking Adam Warlock second, but I don't know if I would really suggest a second support Adam Warlock very frequently. He should really be your third support. Straddling that middle ground between damage and support yet again, his side of support is much more about team sustain, making sure everyone's relatively healthy but not fully topped off, while being able to get a lot of damage out very quickly to help your front line or your DPS secure kills with that massive beam of damage that he can get by charging up his primary weapon. Your Soul Bond is absolutely a crucial ability, and you need to be saving it for the moments that matter the most, specifically overtime when you're getting around a cart and you've got 5 people on there and it's a big ult battle. You can then Soul Bond your entire team and keep everyone up, and that way your healing will actually be maximized because you've got everyone nearby. You can heal up everyone and keep everyone alive. That's what he's good at. He is not good at healing everyone up one by one. It's bulk healing for a short amount of time while he gets back into the fight with damage. Adam's ultimate is also not an ability you're going to use very frequently because, honestly, you need to use it at moments where it matters, not just whenever you get it. Adam's respawn is a very good ability, but it's very easy to counter if people find you, if you use it in the wrong spot, or if you only revive one person. It's really just not worth it. Finding the right time to use Adam Warlock's ultimate can be a bit of a guessing game, and you'll get better at judging those opportunities the more experience you have on him. But you really need to be using him in moments where he's close enough to the action to respawn as many teammates as possible, but safe enough that you won't get everyone instantly killed and you wasted another 5-10 seconds of everyone's time. One last little tidbit I'd love to share is that Adam Warlock is actually really good on the offense rounds of push maps where you have to capture a hill first. No one has an ultimate at the start of the round, so your whole team can just roll in 6 deep like a rolling ball of butcher knives, and really no one can kill you as long as you soul bond at the right time, because no one has enough damage to actually one-shot anybody, like a Magneto ball or an Iron Man proton beam. None of that will really matter, because you'll soul bond everyone, you'll get very healthy, and I actually think Adam Warlock is one of the sneaky best characters to pick in moments like that where you have to capture a hill before you start pushing a cart. While Adam does have very strong team-ups like the Star-Lord and Mantis team-up, there is one more off-meta character that you all know fairly well, and I've already made a video on before that I don't think you guys are shocked is in this video. We need to talk about Rocket Raccoon. The primary reason you should play Rocket Raccoon in this case is his team-up ability. Bucky and the Punisher become infinitely better as soon as you drop your infinite ammo, as they get, of course, infinite ammo as the name implies, but also much faster fire rates, which can lead to devastating outcomes if you've got that Punisher shotgun out and you're a tank. If you've got that Bucky dealing some headshots, it is a total fight changer, and Rocket Raccoon is really good in those regards. Rocket doesn't really deal bulk healing quickly, but it's very consistent regular healing. Imagine if like Cloak and Dagger's primary fire was just constant all the time and had much better range. That's kind of what Rocket's healing is like. Obviously, we don't have to talk about Rocket's respawn ability too much. It is important to keep near the fight, but safe, just like Adam Warlock, so someone can get respawned and jump back into the fight quickly. Similar to Jeff, Rocket should rarely die. His ability to climb walls and have that little jetpack dash should make him very survivable, and he's a tiny character, so you really need to make sure that you are surviving at all costs. If you're playing with a Groot, that team up is really not great. I wouldn't worry about jumping on Groot's back at all. It kind of limits your ability to heal everyone else and stay survivable because yes, you take less damage, but you're probably taking less damage anyway because you're so small and so mobile that you should just be dodging shots rather than tanking them on Groot's back. Truthfully, with Rocket's ultimate, I just suggest using it pretty frequently, almost as often as you get it, as you can use that 40% damage boost around your teammates to surprise the enemy team and make them panic and use some of their own heal abilities. It's not going to be like a Dark Child ultimate or a Bucky again slam, but 40% is 40%, and that's a lot of damage. You could play Rocket as a second support or a third support, but honestly, you're going to get yelled at if you don't have a Punisher or a Bucky. If you see one of those two, I recommend playing Rocket. If you don't, play him if you're really good at him. Play him if you just like him, but expect to get yelled at a little bit. These are the off-meta supports that many people like to play, but some are too afraid to try because they don't have that save the whole team ultimate like your meta support legends do. I hope this video helped you out in learning how to use those characters more effectively. Jeff the Landshark, Adam Warlock, and Rocket Raccoon are all strong in their own right and can be used at the highest levels of gameplay. None of them are true troll picks, but you do need to know how and when to use them. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching.